My 26M, soon-to-be ex-wife, 25F, is trying to get me to come back and won't leave me alone. For nearly a year, my wife cheated on me, lied to me, and manipulated me into melancholy. When I found out, I left and went back to live with my folks. After that, I found out about a slew of other men and online sites she had. I also discovered that she had almost immediately moved in with one of our common friends who had emailed her a week before we parted, admitting his emotions for her. I was entirely over it and had moved on 4 months later after a lot of treatment, which I was already in before this, and a lot of support from friends and family. Unfortunately, we couldn't afford a divorce at the time of separation, so the process has just recently begun. I met someone and fell fully in love with them, and the feeling is reciprocal. It simply dropped into my lap and felt so perfect. I wasn't seeking for anything, it just fell into my lap and felt so right. It's going well, and I've never been happier in my life. My soon-to-be ex, on the other hand, found out about this connection and has done a full 180. She ended things with her new partner, doesn't want a divorce, and wants to get back together and go to marital therapy, claiming she loves me and feels we're meant to be together. She texts me and my family members so often that it borders on harassment. Everyone else has blocked her, but I attempted to talk to her and tell her it's all done. She will not accept anything less than a yes, let's get back together response. I don't love her anymore, but I know how she can be, and I'm afraid she'll do something to damage herself for attention, but I don't think it's my place to intervene. How can I deal with this problem while keeping her out of my life until the divorce is finalized? And what should I do if she does threaten to injure herself? What are my alternatives? I just need assistance. Story 2. My wife 32F has been having an affair and I'm broken. After 3 years of dating, my wife 32F and I 30M married in September 2018. We purchased a property jointly in Virginia just before our honeymoon, and when we returned, we combined our leftover funds in time to thoroughly restore her previous starter home in Maryland, which we sold in early 2019. In Virginia, we both have full-time employment. I earn a fair living, but she makes much more. Katie, my wife, opted to obtain an MBA and began classes last autumn. She had an educational trust established by her parents for her, so she did not seek financial support from me. However, because I saw how time-consuming the MBA was on top of her already heavy professional workload, I took on the responsibility of handling everything related to our still new home, including dealing with contractors, managing all of our bills, maintaining the house, caring for our dog, purchasing/assembling furniture, yard work, cooking, cleaning, laundry, and hosting entertaining her family, who insisted on coming over at least 2 weekends per month. Katie had recently shown dissatisfaction with our relationship, claiming that I wasn't spending enough quality time with her and wasn't making her feel desired. I tried several times to argue that between her work and studies and my work and home responsibilities, there simply wasn't a lot of time to spend together in general. We would frequently not get to eat dinner until 9:00 or 10:00 p.m., and I would either need to bring her a meal to her home office, or we would quickly eat together, and she would return to schoolwork to study or percolate in group projects/session. She'd argue that the things I was doing around the home were just my obligation as a spouse, and that although she respected it, it didn't count against my efforts to preserve or improve our relationship. We'd also been disagreeing a lot about other things, which, coupled with our lack of free time, meant we'd only be intimate once a month. But after one especially emotional and intoxicated chat a few weeks ago, I decided that despite what I believed was already prioritizing her needs, I would go even farther. I began to skip work. I, unlike her, had to go in during COVID or come in late/leave early, stop seeing friends, skipped workouts, and would even wait until she was occupied with something else to even take a shower, all so that I could spend as much available time with her between her obligations as possible. As a consequence, things appear to be getting better between us. We finally made it to the day before last Wednesday. As is customary for me, I was making dinner for the family. In the kitchen, we have a tablet computer, which I mostly use for recipe research. Just as I was about to wrap reading, the tablet began to ping ceaselessly, so I went to see what was going on. Because Katie's tablet is linked to her Google credentials, I was the first to notice a continuing Hangouts discussion between Katie and a friend, in which they were discussing what to do about someone's wife, who had been at our house while I was at work on that particular day. Scrolling through the discussion history, I learned more about Katie's lack of feelings for me, as well as her desire and fantasies about being with someone else, whom we'll call Luke, as a result of our conversation. Instead of leaving Hangouts and opening her Gmail, I chose to check her inbox, where I found many emails between her and Luke, going back to March, in which they addressed one another by their first names, babe, sweetheart, and my love. Without knowing what to do next, I took images of everything I could find before heading outside to call the one person I knew who had legal experience, a senior executive at my company with whom I developed a friendship over the years. He advised that I contact her as soon as possible, but that I first have someone come over to the house to serve as a witness in case things went violent, or if she later attempted to claim that they had. To confront Katie, I summoned a friend who arrived in about 20 minutes. Katie admitted to the relationship and said that they had been intimate on multiple occasions over the previous 4 months, both in hotels and at our home. Despite the fact that I was in a state of extreme discomfort, I sought to maintain my composure and requested her to go. She slept at a hotel for 2 nights and then went home on Friday despite my concerns, saying that this was also her home, which I found ridiculous. As soon as she returned, she continued to talk, and since I didn't have a witness this time, I decided to film the whole conversation on my phone. I hope you like it. He emphasized that she was dissatisfied with our relationship, but that she had been reaching out to her friends and mother for guidance and resources in order to mend our connection, even though I had suggested counseling in the past, but she refused. In her attempt to persuade me that she had made a mistake, that she had broken up with Luke only a week before, that I was the only person she wanted to spend her life with, and that the only reason she hadn't informed me was because her friends had encouraged her not to. She used a variety of convincing tactics. She also said that if we really love one another, divorce was a mistake, and that we should be able to overcome any difficulties that may arise. In response, I said that love is nothing without trust, and then requested that she politely remain in the guest room if she persisted on being here. Without a doubt, she is allowed to use her home office and the guest bathroom, but please refrain from entering our bedroom or bathroom without first obtaining my permission. As a result, here I am. I'm alone in my house with my dog, and I'm thinking about something. We're now hosting a cookout at our neighbor's house with her aunt, uncle, and cousins. They are unaware of what she's done. There is something about Katie that I can't force myself to go over there because I don't want to talk to her or even look at her, much alone pretend that nothing happened in front of a large group of people. Despite the fact that 90% of me desires a divorce, I was satisfied with the life we were making together. We had even spoken about the possibility of being pregnant by this time next year. In any case, no matter what happens, I am convinced that I do not want to make that decision before understanding more about what I can do, what may happen if we continue, and at the very least, before speaking with a few VA lawyers to defend myself. We only have one joint account, which has less than $20,000 in it, and our only asset is our home, which is our entire possession. That's all there is to it. Please accept my apologies for the length of this letter. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the very end, and I would be thankful for any and all information, suggestions, or help that you could provide. I'm completely and utterly shattered, empty, and alone at the moment. Please be of service to me. Edit. I am utterly taken aback and overjoyed by the outpouring of love and support I have received from everyone. I can't believe you take the time to provide your advice, kindness, and wisdom to someone who has never met you before. I'm making every effort to read each and every one of your answers, and I thank you from the bottom of my somewhat shattered heart for your generosity. This has been a fantastic source of light through the most difficult moment of my life.